Hello guys, it's me, King Mumsy, and in today's video I'm going to be discussing characters that I want to see in the new Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 4 game. By the way, I just want to first make it clear that this is a wish list and not a prediction list, as I will just focus on 50 Dragon Ball characters that I want to see make it in, regardless of how big or small their chances may be. So now without any further ado guys, let's get right into it. Now to start off the list, we have Goku, but since he is the main character of the series, we have to have multiple Gokus. The first one I'm going to talk about on this list is going to be the original Kid Goku. I absolutely love this version of Goku and his adventures and the fights that he went through in the first Dragon Ball anime. His use of the power pole was really cool. The rock paper scissors technique that he used, albeit not a lot, was still really cool to see. And yeah, I would just love to see this version of Goku in the game, and I feel that he really deserves a spot in the game. And I think his great ape form would make a really good transformation for the character as well during gameplay. But yeah, I would love to see the original Kid Goku be playable in this game, plus he was playable in all 3 Budokai games. Now the next Goku that we're going to be talking about is a version of Goku that's going to be purely focused on him in Dragon Ball Z, where he can transform into a Kaioken state and then use Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2 and Super Saiyan 3. I'd much prefer this over the early, mid and late Goku that we got in Budokai Tenkaichi 3, plus back then it was a much different time for Dragon Ball. You know, Dragon Ball Super wasn't a thing at the time, so I think it just makes sense. And another version of Goku that I want to see is a version of Goku where it's purely based off what he can do in the Dragon Ball Super anime and the Dragon Ball Super films, and also the Battle of Gods and Resurrection F films as well. So the transformations that I want to see are Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, but I also want to see Ultra Instinct Omen Goku. Yeah, I want to see this version of Ultra Instinct as a transformation for this Dragon Ball Super version of Goku, and I also want to see Mastered Ultra Instinct or True Ultra Instinct, same shit, I don't really care. But yeah, I want to see all of these transformations for Goku in a Dragon Ball Super version of him. Now there is just one more version of Goku that I want to see, and that is GT Kid Goku. Now I'm not a big fan of GT, but I feel like it should have some, or at least a little bit of representation in Tenkaichi 4, so I want to see the GT Kid version of Goku where he can go Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 3 and of course everyone's favorite Super Saiyan 4. So yeah, I want to see this version of Goku in the game as well. Now next up we have Vegeta, the Prince of the Saiyans. Of course, gotta have him in there. And like Goku, Vegeta needs multiple versions as there are a lot of Vegeta transformations, and he is basically the secondary character of the series since the days of Dragon Ball Z. So yeah, I want a Dragon Ball Z version and a Dragon Ball Super version of Vegeta as well. I don't feel like we need a GT version of him, just Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super versions of him. But for the Dragon Ball Z version of Vegeta, I want to see him with the Super Saiyan transformation, the Super Saiyan 2 transformation, and most importantly the Super Vegeta transformation where he just looks big and bulky. He used this transformation against the time that he just beat up Cell and just bullied him. This was Vegeta at his cockiest, and I and many people just absolutely loved it. This guy was an absolute menace. And as for Margin Vegeta, because I know a lot of people love that version of Vegeta, personally I couldn't do without that version. Obviously I want to see his attacks and whatnot, but I'd rather Margin Vegeta just be a skin for Vegeta. Same with Vegeta back in the early Saiyan saga. That outfit he wore, I would prefer that to just be a skin for both Vegetas. Speaking of different versions of Vegeta, as for the Dragon Ball Super version of Vegeta, I want him to have the Super Saiyan God transformation. That is a must for Vegeta, most definitely, as we can all agree that Super Saiyan God form looks way better on Vegeta than it does on Goku. And of course Vegeta needs the Super Saiyan Blue transformation as well if they're going to give it to Goku, and I think that he should have the Hyper Blue transformation as well, because I do think that transformation is kind of cool, albeit nothing too special, but still I would love to see it in the game. And I want to see Ultra Ego as well, even though I think the chances of Ultra Ego being in the game's base roster are very low because it is a very recent transformation, but regardless, I would just want to see this as a transformation in the game. And now next up, we have my favorite Dragon Ball character, who is Piccolo. I absolutely love this character. Obviously, one of the main characters has been since early Dragon Ball Z. He was originally a villain in the original Dragon Ball. So yeah, we gotta have him in there. He is a must, besides just being a great character. Now, as for transformations, I would want his first transformation to be him taking off his heavy clothing. I think that would be really cool. I would love to play with Piccolo as he has all of his heavy clothing on, and then the first transformation can be him taking the heavy clothing off, so that way you can increase his speed physically when playing with him in the game. I think that would be really cool. And I think his second transformation should be Potential Unleashed, where his skin color becomes much lighter and he loses all the freckles or whatever those lines are on his body. But yeah, we first see this transformation in Dragon Ball Super Hero, so yeah, I think this should be a second transformation. And then the third and final transformation for him should obviously be none other than Orange Piccolo. Obviously this has to be a transformation for him, and I would definitely love to play with this version of Piccolo in the game. So now let's move on to Son Gohan. Obviously he's a character that definitely has to be in Tenkaichi 4, but I think for me, I just want two versions of Gohan. I want the Super Saiyan teenage version of him, where he is basically already a Super Saiyan like we see in the anime and manga. He's literally in a Super Saiyan state the entire time, so I want him to be Super Saiyan right off the bat. And then I think his first transformation should be him taking off the heavy clothing like what Piccolo does. I know that for Gohan, the clothing wasn't exactly heavy, it didn't really make a difference, but I would still like to see it either way. It would just be cool to play with this version of Gohan. And then of course the second transformation should be none other than Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, where he just goes beast mode. Like, yeah, I don't think I really need to say more than that, do I? But yeah, on to the next version of Gohan that I want to see in the game. Of course it has to be adult Gohan. I do like this version of Gohan, even if he does slack off a bit and is a bit inconsistent in terms of his training and whatnot. But yeah, I still like this version of Gohan regardless, and yeah, I want to see him become playable too. And in terms of what transformations I want to see for him, I want to see Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, Potential Unleashed, or as we call him, Ultimate Gohan. But another transformation I want to see for adult Gohan is a very recent one, and it is called Beast Gohan. Of course, I would love to see this version of Gohan make it into the game as a transformation. I absolutely loved seeing this form go ham in the Dragon Ball Super Hero movie, albeit I do wish we could have seen more from it fighting wise. But yeah, I would still love to see this transformation make it into the game for adult Gohan regardless. Now next up, we have one of Dragon Ball's finest villains, and that is King Piccolo. I absolutely love this guy. He was the first Dragon Ball villain to actually wreak havoc on the world and was a major threat within the story and to its characters at the time. And yeah, it was just a really cool character. The way he just put Goku through the ringer, and his final fight with Goku was so good as well. I would absolutely love to see this character become playable. Plus he was playable in Budokai Tenkaichi 3 and the Wii version of Tenkaichi 2. So yeah, there's absolutely no reason why they cannot make him a playable character in Tenkaichi 4. So yeah, I would love to see King Piccolo. I also want to see Android 17 and 18. These are also characters who are absolute must-haves when it comes to Dragon Ball games or just fighting games in general. But yeah, I would love to see them be playable in this game. As for what versions, in the case of Android 17, I would definitely love to see his Universe Tournament version rather than his Dragon Ball Z version, and I'm pretty sure many other people will probably feel that way too, as Android 17 has gained a lot of fans thanks to Dragon Ball Super. So yeah, I would prefer to see that version of him in Tenkaichi 4. Same goes for Android 18, but incorporate a lot of her moves that was in Dragon Ball Z, you know, where she fought against Vegeta. That is still one of the most iconic fights in Dragon Ball, and obviously it's her most iconic fight in Dragon Ball. So yeah, definitely incorporate a lot of her moves from that fight with Super Saiyan Vegeta. And also they can just use the Dragon Ball Z versions of their outfits as skins for the game. But yeah, ultimately I would love to see these two make a return in Tenkaichi 4. I also want to see Android 16, albeit not as much as the other two androids. I don't really care for 16 that much. much from a fighting perspective. Like, yeah, his fight with Cell was cool, I guess, but I like 16 more for his character, if that makes sense. But yeah, I would like to see 16 in there. Next up, we have Gogeta. You gotta have him in there. I would love to see him playable in this game. I want to see his transformations be Super Saiyan Blue, and Super Saiyan 4. Now, I know what a lot of people are already thinking in the comments. Why Super Saiyan Blue and Super Saiyan 4 as a transformation for Gogeta? Well, the reason why I think that they should do this is because I don't really see the point in them making a separate Gogeta just for the Super Saiyan 4 transformation. I think it's just unnecessary. I think they should just make one single Gogeta character, like just one single version of that character, and his transformations just to all be for that one version of Gogeta. So yeah, I just want a single playable version of Gogeta with the Super Saiyan transformation, Super Saiyan Blue transformation, and Super Saiyan 4 transformation. And then next up we have the Beta Fusion, which is Vegito. I want his transformations to be Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan Blue. And then next up we have obvious characters who are going to make it into the game, like Krillin, Yamcha, Tien. These are characters that have been main characters in the Dragon Ball series since day one. They've been there since the early Dragon Ball days, especially Krillin, who is still Goku's best friend. So yeah, gotta include them. I don't really think Chaozu is necessary. Like, Tien on his own is good enough. And you know, I know Yamcha's a meme, but come on, man. We've got to include Yamcha no matter what, man. Meme or not, Cyberman level or not, he's been there since day one. So yeah, he's gotta be in there regardless. Yeah, next up we got Master Roshi, a character who has also been there since day one, but yeah, I don't know how big or small his chances are gonna be in terms of being playable in this game, but regardless, I want to see him become playable. I really love Master Roshi and this character. He's just that goofy sensei character that's always taught Goku and Krillin and the others right from wrong. In terms of how to be a proper martial artist, when he fights, he's really cool, and I want to see the Jackie Chun version of his character become a skin in the game. I would love to see that. Now, next up, we have a character who I think is most definitely going to make it in, and that is Nappa. I would love to see Nappa make it into this game, but I also want to see him make it into this game with the Great Ape transformation, which was a thing in the old Budokai Tenkaichi games. I know that we never got to see Nappa transform into a Great Ape in the story, but still, we know that he can do it. We know that he has the potential to do it, and again, he did do it in the old Tenkaichi game, so I want to see the Great Ape form become a transformation for him in this game. And then next up, we have Trunks, but I want to see two versions of Trunks in this game. Not Kid Trunks, sorry little man, but nah, not you. I want to see future Trunks with the sword, mainly the Dragon Ball Z version, as I don't really care for the Dragon Ball Super version of Trunks, I'm gonna be honest. So yeah, I just want to see Trunks with the sword, and he can just have the Super Saiyan form be a transformation for him. And another version of Trunks that I want to see is the version where he goes Super Trunks, and he also goes Super Saiyan 2 as well. So yeah, I want to see this version of Trunks as well, especially since he's fighting without sword, so that's even more reason for him to be his own playable character within this game. So yeah, I would definitely love to see that in Tenkaichi 4. Now next up, I want to see Lord Frieza, aka the best Dragon Ball villain, but I don't just want to see one version of Frieza become playable in this game. I want to see two versions of Frieza. But before I get into that, make sure to like the video if you've been enjoying it so far. It's the easiest way to support the channel, and it helps spread the video to viewers like you. Now let's talk about Frieza and the reason why I want to see two playable versions of him. The reason why is because with Frieza, he's now at a point where his final form has its own number of transformations, from the 100% full power form, and then there's Golden Frieza, and now there's Black Frieza. I can't believe this is a transformation. But yeah, I think Final Form Frieza should just be his own playable character, and then you just make 100% full power Golden Frieza and Black Frieza his transformations, and then the other version of Frieza is basically his first form, and then the transformations should be his second form and the third form. No point in making his final form a transformation if it's gonna be its own playable character. But yeah, that's how I think Frieza should be in Tenkaichi 4, and I would much prefer this as well. Now next up we have Cell. I want Cell playable in this game. He's obviously going to be playable in this game, and obviously his transformations are going to be semi-perfect form, then the perfect form, and then of course we have the super perfect form. Now next up we have Margin Boo. I want to see the fat or good Boo. I want to see him playable in this game. I want to see Super Boo playable in this game as well. I would also like to see him be able to transform into his Gohan version or the Gotenks fusion version like he was able to do in the old Budokai Tenkaichi games. I would love to see that in this game, and I also want to see the real Margin Boo playable in this game as well. And then next up we've got the Ginyu Force. Now yes, I want to see all the Ginyu Force members be playable in this game. I don't want it to be like Dragon Ball FighterZ where Captain Ginyu is the only playable character and then the rest are just side pieces. Plus all of the Ginyu Force members were obviously playable in the old Tenkaichi games, so they've definitely got to do that for this game too. I want to see Captain Ginyu, Jis, Berta, Rikum and Guldo all become their own playable separate characters in Tenkaichi 4. Now next up we have Broly, and the Broly that I want to see become playable in this game is the Dragon Ball Super version of Broly, not the Dragon Ball Z version. I just don't care for the Dragon Ball Z version of Broly. Like, if they put him in the game, that's great. I have no issues or qualms with it, but for me personally, I just want to see the Super version, and I want his transformations to be the Super Saiyan form and then the legendary Super Saiyan form. But yeah, I would love to see the Super version of Broly be playable in this game. And then next, we have Videl. Obviously, Videl is a fan favorite, especially as far as the female characters go in Dragon Ball, and she's definitely a favorite for me as well. I would love to see her be playable in this game. And then next up we have Beerus. I absolutely love Beerus. I know he's not done much as of late, but he's still a cool character. I still love how he was in Battle of Gods, and also I love how he just destroyed Zamasu in one go. So yeah, I still like Beerus a lot, and especially enough to want to see him become playable. But as for Whis, I don't really care for Whis that much, I'm gonna be honest. I can do without Whis. And then next we have Jiren. Now I'm not the biggest fan of this character. He's a bit boring at times, I'm not gonna lie, but in terms of what he can do in a fight, he is really cool. I would love to see Jiren be playable in Tenkaichi 4, and I would love his transformation to be where he goes full power like he did against the mastered Ultra Instinct Goku, where he's just shirtless and he's just overpowered as all heck. So yeah, I would love to see Jiren be playable. I also want to see Toppo. I would love to see Toppo become playable in this game, mostly because I want to see his god form. I want to play as Toppo in his God of Destruction transformation. Like, I would love to see that in Tenkaichi 4 as a transformation for the character. So yeah, would definitely love to see Toppo become playable in this game. Now next up we have Hit, who I feel is a very obvious character that they're going to include. It's pretty obvious that Dragon Ball Super characters are going to be in this game, thanks to us seeing Goku going to his Super Saiyan Blue form in the teaser trailer. So yeah, I feel like Hit is definitely going to make it in. I would love to see this character make it in. He's one of my favorite characters that was introduced in Super, and another character that I really like that was introduced in Super is Goku Black. I would love to see him make an appearance in this game, and I'm pretty sure he'll make it in as a playable character along with his Super Saiyan Rose form. Still, I think one of the coolest Super Saiyan forms in the entire series. Now next up we have Cooler, probably the only Dragon Ball Z non-canon villain that I actually care for. The rest I don't. I'm gonna be honest, I don't care for Bojack or Janemba or any of these other non-canon Dragon Ball Z movie villains, but Cooler, I do like him. I think he's really cool, no pun intended, especially in his final form. And yeah, regardless, I would just love to see Cooler be playable in this game. Now another character I want to see become playable is Hercule. Hercule is a character that I'm kind of mixed on. I do like him, but at the same time he can be a bit too obnoxious at times, which can make his character very off-putting for me. But I think as a joke character he would work very well for Tenkaichi 4 like he did in the old Tenkaichi game. So yeah, I would love to see him be playable in this game regardless of how I feel about the character. Now next up we have another Dragon Ball villain, but from the original Dragon Ball, and that is Mercenary Tao. A really fun and entertaining but also a very dangerous and cool villain villain as well, and I would love to see him become playable in Tenkaichi 4. I think he would be a character that would be really cool and fun to play with. And another character that was introduced in the original Dragon Ball that I want to see become playable is Nam. He was a really fun character that was first introduced in the first World Martial Arts Tournament arc in the Dragon Ball series. So yeah, I would like to see Nam become playable. He was playable in Tenkaichi 4, so why not make him playable in this game? I feel like this game could do with some more human characters, and I think Nam would be a really good human character to play with. Now next up we have Zarbon, a really cool character that was in the Frieza arc, and I really want to play with him just because of his monster form. Like, I absolutely loved seeing him go ham on Vegeta, just the way he destroyed Vegeta when he transformed. Zarbon was a force to be reckoned with, and yeah, I think it would be a really cool character to play with in Tenkaichi 4 as well. Now next up is another fusion character, and it is Gotenks. Now as much as I love Goten and Kid Trunks, I would rather just play with the fused version of these two characters. I really like Gotenks. He's definitely one of my favorite fusions in the series. And as for transformations, I think they should give him Super Saiyan 1 and Super Saiyan 3, and yeah, I think that would be enough for Gotenks in this game. Now next up we have Dabura. Dabura is a really cool villain. He got destroyed by Majin Buu, but in terms of what Dabura could do, he was a really cool and deadly character within the series at the time during the Majin Buu arc. So yeah, I think his ability to just use his sword the way he does, and also the ability to turn people into stone, I think those were really cool abilities, and I would just love to see him become playable in the game. I think it would be a really cool character to play with. Now next up we have Grandpa Gohan. Yes, I'm serious. I want to see Goku's grandpa become playable in this game. I mean, he was playable in Tenkaichi 3, so why not? And also, who better than Goku's parent that looked after him ever since he was a young child? But yeah, I would like to see Grandpa Gohan playable in this game. I think it would be a really cool character in Tenkaichi 4 like it was in Tenkaichi 3. And as for the final two characters on this list, it is Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 from Dragon Ball Super Hero. These are very recent characters, so they'd more likely be DLC than in the base roster, but for me personally, I would love them to be in the roster regardless. Whether they'd be DLC characters or base roster characters, I don't care. I just want to see these characters be playable in Tenkaichi 4, especially Gamma 2 after the sacrifice that he gave in the movie, and also he was just a more fun and likable character than Gamma 1. But regardless, I want them both to be playable in this game. And yeah, that ultimately does it for this 50 character wish list. I really want to see all of these characters make it into Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 4, whether they be in the base roster or DLC. But yeah guys, let me know who you want to see become playable in Budokai Tenkaichi 4 in the comment section below. And also, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm really sorry for the really long hiatus that I took away from this channel, but I'm back now and I plan to do more Budokai Tenkaichi 4 content in the future, most definitely, for sure. I'm really excited for this game and what it will bring for many Dragon Ball fans like myself. But yeah, if you're excited for this game too, then definitely be sure to subscribe and hit that like button if you enjoyed the video and want to see more Budokai Tenkaichi 4 content from me. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Your boy is back, but for now I'm going to be signing out, so you guys take care and peace.